Hi friends, it's Kathy from RustPaperScissors, and I wanted to do a flip through today of this Shabby Chic journal that I made and the things that go along with it. And I wanted to give you, as I flip through it, I want to give you little tips and tricks. And then I also have a few confessions of things that maybe just didn't go exactly right. And I just want to encourage you to try something new. And um, that's what I did here. The reason, let me give you a little background on the reason I did a shabby chic journal, because, like I say, it's not my style. I was looking for an old Reader's Digest book, and so I went to a local thrift store, and I was there looking, and the lady came up to me and she said, can I help you? I said, well, I'm looking for old Reader's Digest books or whatever, and she said, well, what do you do with them? And I hesitated. I almost didn't say anything because I'm like, nobody ever knows what a junk journal is, and you have to explain it and whatever. So, but I went ahead and I said, well, I make junk journals out of them. And she goes, oh, we have a lady who works here and she makes junk journals. She does swaps. She has, craft meetings at her house and all this. And I'm just sitting there like, sure, right, lady, this can't be what's going on. And she said, oh, you've got to come back later today. She's going to be working. So I had to run another errand later on in the day. So I decided I'll go back by and just see if this lady really does make junk journals. And sure enough, she makes junk journals, and she has a group that comes to her house once a week, usually on Fridays, and we journal and make all sorts of different things. One of the blessings that I got out of this whole thing was I didn't realize how lonely I was in my journaling or my crafting, and being part of this group, it's exciting to go and you share your knowledge. You share maybe a technique that you know how to do, or you ask somebody to teach you something, or they share their supplies. They share just everything. It's been such a blessing to me. And like I say, I just didn't realize I was kind of lonely. I knew other people in Texas junk journaled, but I just didn't know any of them. And so this was really a blessing. In fact, one of the ladies, a lady named Debbie, was the one who gave my name to Gail Agnestelli, and she's the one who showcased my shop in one of her Etsy shares. So I was so grateful to that, and that has been such a blessing to me. So long story to get to the point why I made a Shabby Chic journal. One of the things that we decided to do as a group, we were going to do a everybody would do a Shabby Chic journal. And so I missed a couple of the meetings and had to do some of the work on my own, but I finally finished it. And this is what I've come up with, and I really love it. I'm wondering if I can pull back just a little bit and uh, um, the journal. I found this, I call it a dusty blue sticky backed velvet. I love sticky backed velvet. If you know any of my journals, you know it's my thing. And then I originally had envisioned a different doily for the cover, but I just couldn't make it work. And so I went back through my stash and I found this doily, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. Call off the dogs, the hunt's over. This is it. So this is what I ended up using on the cover. And then I added a little rhinestone. This is off of a necklace. I love to cannibalize jewelry. And so this was from a necklace that had several of these little brooches on there. So I added that, and then I added a little nameplate. And then my signature closure is a bulldog clip with a chain. And I just love those. It's quick and easy way to get, in and out of your journal, and it works very well for me. I add the rhinestones, rust and rhinestones. I should have named my Etsy shop Rust and Rhinestones, because that's what I love. But this journal is about 7 3/4 by 5 3/4. The gator mouth is about 5 inches, And then I love the look at this from the side. I love all the laces that cascade down. I love the look from the top. It just looks real different. I love the look from the bottom. It has the laces hanging out. So I said shabby chic's not my style, and I'm not a real frilly girl, and I'm not a pink girl, and I think of shabby chic, I think of pink. So this was going to be a challenge for me, but I ended up using some pink, but mainly a blue theme has come through the journal, and you'll see there's all sorts of pages where there's blue in it that I didn't realize was going to be kind of the theme through the journal. So that was kind of interesting. So you just never know where a journal is going to take you. So let's go inside. And oh, the other thing I wanted to do, what is going to come with this journal is this beautiful handkerchief. I wanted to add it to a page or some way, but I didn't know how to add it. If anybody has a good way to add this handkerchief, I would love to know. I thought about adding a rusty safety pin or sometimes those coilless safety pins, but putting a rusty pin through this fabric would, just, hurt it. So I didn't want to do that before I gave it to somebody. So they may want to add it with a rusty safety pin, but I just couldn't do that because I loved it too much. So that comes with the journal. Then it also comes with a little companion journal, and we'll go through that. There's nothing in there, just some papers. And then I also added I'll add to the journal this kit of pages that are similar to the pages that are in the journal. And I do that in case you want to make your own ephemera or tags. My journaling style is very minimal. There's a lot of writing space in the journal, but not a great deal of digitals or ephemera, but there is some, and I also am going to include in the with the journal just a variety of the rusted paper clips and bulb pins and different things that you might want to use in your journal. But anyway, but I wanted to talk about this journal. There is vintage fabric and vintage ephemera. There is what I call retro fabric and retro ephemera. And what I mean by retro, I think something from the 50s, 60s, 70s, I consider that retro. So if I say that term, that's what I'm talking about. It's this product probably came from the 1960s or the 50s. And so that's just something I wanted to mention, but some of it is vintage. This beautiful doily on the front, this is a vintage item, and I just love it. It's really pretty. But let's go inside and we'll look at the things. And one tip I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you can see, I am not a jewelry maker, so I've tried to use the what they call jump rings, where you take this ring and you twist it and you put put the chain through there and close it back up. I never can get it to close back up and I feel like be strong enough. The chain will slip out or something. I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. This is like, if you can see it, and it might be hard to see with this background, but you take your pliers and you twist it like that, and then it opens up, and then you twist it back, and I never can get it to twist back. And right, like I say, I'm not a jewelry maker, so, and I just dropped it. Well, there it goes. So I never can get it back where the let's see, where it meets up. I never can get it back to meet up where the chain doesn't slip through, or I just don't feel like it's strong enough. So what I use is something called a split ring. And This is just an example. It's like two rings that don't quite meet in the center there. And you don't need any special tools. I use my fingernail and I just open it up, and I don't know if you can see that, but I slip the chain in and then I slip it onto the bulldog clip, and it's very secure. They won't come off. And those take a little bit of wear. I also wanted to show you on the inside here, I like to add jewelry to the journal. So again, I added it on there with a split ring, and it just makes it very secure. This isn't gonna, fall through and come off. So that's my first tip, is I use the split rings. And then the inside cover is just some lace here. This was some Hobby Lobby lace. And this is a library card holder. This is a library card, and then I added a digital. This lace is probably retro from the 50s or 60s. I got it in a thrift store. So that's that. Now, again, this is a confession. I don't use a lot of fabrics and material in my journal, so I'm not real sure, how to use them or how to incorporate this into the page. So I have them added, but a lot of times I don't have anything on them, or I've incorporated them. So if y'all have any ideas, I would appreciate somebody telling me how, what I could add to it. I tried to add a bulb pin and a metal rim tag, but it would cause the fabric to, not lay flat. So I just struggled with it. So that's a confession, that I struggle with the material in this journal. So that's a vintage doily. And then there's only one signature. This is some corrugated paper, and then I added a digital, and then I love to add the ribbon twist paper. It adds it adds texture, but no bulk, and so I like that. So that was the cover. And then this trim, this is just a little belly band that I made with some trim from Hobby Lobby, and I love this trim. I just think it's gorgeous. So I loved including that and making a little belly band. These are just a couple of little journaling cards. Again, there was a little pink on these, so a little homage to what I think is shabby chic. I didn't mention, but the pages are all tea stained. And again, they're blank. I may kind of flip through them fast just to spare you, a lot of time that, you don't need to waste. So that's just some tracing paper. And then this is just writing paper. Again, this is the blue line that I didn't realize would show through in the page. And then I like, again, how you see the lace off the sides. But this just says the details. Oh, this is another example. When I added this piece, the edge was just unfinished, and I didn't like it. It bothered me. I know a lot of people can really embrace the, torn or unfinished look, but for some reason it just bothered me. And so what I thought I would do was I wanted to add this ribbon to kind of finish off the edge. And I really liked that, and I glued it down, and then when I turned it over, it was unfinished on the back, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't like that. So I tore this off, and what I did was, and I talked about this in another video, so I won't, and I'll link it below. I won't go a long time, but I want to say, if you're new to journaling, or if you don't have a lot of supplies, you might look in the Sewings Notion of like Hobby Lobby and Michael's, Joann's. There's a lot of things that you can use. This is called double fold bias tape, and I like to add it on the edge of pages. So it'll strengthen, let's see if I can do it real quick here. It would strengthen the edge of this page. I would glue it on there, and then you could pull it, and it would strengthen the page. So I like to use it like that. There's also something in the sewing section called hem tape, and it's lace, and I'll show you. I have some in the journal. I use that to strengthen the edge of pages and, more fragile type pages, or if it's going to be used a lot, if it's a pull-out section, I'll add something to it to reinforce the edge. So what I did was I took the edge and I opened this up and I added glue, and then I glued this inside there, and then let's see if I can do it. Am I in frame? I'm not sure if I am, but I glued it, and then I glued it again, and it had a finished edge, and that allowed me to re-glue this trim onto the edge, and I think it looks nice. And then on the back side, I added just some more lace just to kind of finish off the back. So that was a little confession of something that didn't actually go perfect, but you can make it work. I said in another video, we're alone in the craft room. Julia Childs says that, you're alone in the kitchen. So just remember, you're alone in the craft room. You can make it work. So now this is a piece of ledger paper, and I just added this stamp that was on an envelope, and the year says 1972, and I just stapled it on there. I wanted to mention I sell the rusted staples in my Etsy shop. They were very popular, and I ran out, but I have restocked, so I just wanted to mention that. But that's that, and then here's some more blank paper. This is, I believe, retro fabric from a thrift store. I believe it was a curtain. I really don't know, but I added it there. And then this is an example of it's just a pull out, and then I added a glassine envelope that I tea dyed, and then I added the little flower from the lace, and then this printable. One of the things I wanted to mention was I have it attached with I call it a baby owl clip. These remind me of the Tim Holtz small, mini paper clips. And so I love them, and I do have them in my shop. They're a little bit more expensive, but it's because the item is expensive, so I just say that. And then this is the back. Then this is an example. I like to watch Tonya at Scribbles in Time, and she talks about, again, how your eye, sees more than just the page. And this blue, you see this blue here, and, it just kind of makes everything cohesive. This is just a couple of vintage postcards. This one is blank. And I think that's so pretty. That blue just matches the journal. And then this is just it looks like maybe a Christmas postcard. This one does have some writing on the back. The other one was blank, but they are vintage. They are the real thing, and I included those. And then again, this is just some lace I added to this coffee stained paper. And then I wanted to add, this was just some eyelet fabric that I had, and I wanted to make a little secret journaling spot, or I think they call them tip-ins or fabric flips. I'm not real sure, but that's what I did there. I also wanted to mention, a lot of times when I tear my fabric, or you have fabric that kind of ravels a lot, I will use, I add fray check to the edge, and that just stops the fabric from continuing to ravel, and it strengthens it a little bit. It helps you be able to trim up some of the loose edges if you needed to. It usually dries clear. You can't really tell, but it strengthens the fabric just a little bit. So this is another tip. Something that I use is the fray check. Then this is the vintage doily, and I love this one. Again, I didn't know you could stamp on there, or you could add a bulb pin and add, you know, maybe a piece of jewelry or something. I really didn't know how to embellish the fabric pages, so I'm just being honest about that. This was a tag that I made watching Heather at Ruby and Pearl XO. She does a lot with the wallpapers and the embossed pages, and I really like that. I added some lace. This is some lace from my wedding dress. So this is from, it was actually my sister's wedding dress, and then I used the same dress. And she got married in the 70s, and I got married in the 80s. So it's almost retro. And this is just a music dictionary page. This is just some blank writing page. This is some retro fabric from a thrift store, and just have that. And then this is again an example of a tag that I made watching a video from Ruby and Pearl, or Heather at Ruby and Pearl XO. She talks about what she calls double printing, and she'll print the background and then she'll add maybe a floral design on top. And you can kind of see the writing through the floral image, but she says she was not a great fussy cutter, and I'm not a great fussy cutter. So this is a great way to do it. A lot of times, if I don't do the double printing, I will print a image onto the matte clear postage, you know, mailing labels, and I'll add those, and the matte doesn't look too shiny, and I like that. So I just wanted to mention that. Then I also wanted to say that this is a page of ledger paper from the early, around the 1950s. And again, it's the blue that comes through. And then inside this ledger book were some old receipts. And this was from Dallas, and this is it says H.H. Stewart Auto Parts Company, Dallas, Texas, and the year is 1955. So it went with that. So I wanted to include that original piece with the journal. And then I just have it on there with a little mini rusted bulldog clip. And then this is just a tag that I made a couple of weeks ago, and I just wanted to include it in here. It was showcasing just making just a different tag using up scraps, and I thought the remember went with the shabby chic. And then again here, I added just a little 3-cent stamp. The year says 1957-58, so I thought that went with the 1950 ledger paper. So I do that. And then this is just some writing paper with a little lace on the edge. Oh, this is, again, some kind of crazy thing. It's some dictionary page, and again, I added the hem tape and just to strengthen the edge when you pull it out. This is a little tag that I made, and this is, I thought it was a paper clip, but I've learned that it's called a clam clip. And apparently there is an apparatus that you use to push it onto your pages and to take it off. I didn't know any of that. I just saw these and I thought, oh, I'd like to use those as a paper clip. It'd be a neat kind of paper clip. So I got some, and I was able to tarnish them. They didn't really rust, but I tarnished them. But they were very tight. You couldn't get the pages in there. So what I did was I took a knife and I kind of pried them or loosened them up. And so now you can slip pages in there and use it kind of like a paper clip. So that's another confession. I want to sell those in my shop, but I don't know, since sometimes they're loose and I can't get it back on there, so while I'm filming, I'll just put it in there. So I haven't sold those yet in my shop, but I'd be interested in what y'all thought of those, but just wanted to show that. This is a square doily. This is a vintage fabric, and I love that. I think that's beautiful. Again, you could probably stamp on it or add a picture. There'd probably be several ways to use that. And then here's our blank pages. This is just some map paper, probably from the 70s or 80s. It's a Texas map page. Not sure this is Silby, Texas. So I added the little metal rim tag that says Discover. And then this piece, this is another original piece, and it's an envelope, and it's from 1956, and that's the year I was born. And I just loved it. I loved the different stamps on here. I love the Paravion. Again, the blue went with the journal. But it's very fragile. I haven't done anything to it because I didn't know the person who got this journal, what they might want to do with this. So I wanted to leave it just like that. They could add a sweet little letter in there, or they could strengthen this and add something. There's just a lot of things you could do with it, but I wanted to leave it up to the person who got the journal as to what they did. So I just have that. And again, it's very fragile. And that's part of the journal. Then here's another page. This is some shorthand book paper. My mom, it's from probably the 1940s. This was my mom's book, and so I got that. And then the center of the signature, I usually add an envelope. This is a glassine envelope that I covered with a sticky backed velvet. Then I just added this digital and some lace and paper behind it. And then this is just some lace from my wedding dress. It would be retro, I guess. My sister was married in the 1970s, and I was married in the 80s. So I think I said that before. If I'm repeating myself, I'm so sorry. I've practiced this video a few times, and I may have said the same thing. I apologize. But I just made some little tags to go in the envelope, and then I got a whale tail die. I have tons of the sticky backed velvet scraps, and I thought, wouldn't it be so cute to make little tag toppers out of it? So that's what I did, and I just included those in here. And then this back page is a granny square triangle that I crocheted, and just added it there. And then these are just two little digital pieces that I put in there to showcase that. And then now we'll be going through some of the same paper. Again, this is my wedding dress lace, and that's just on that paper. I didn't realize when I did this I should have added some lace down this side, so I'll add some lace before I send it out. This is the matte paper. Again, a metal rim tag. It says with the ampersand. This is the back of that vintage doily. Oops. This is some dictionary page, and again, I used the hem tape. They call it hem tape. It looks like lace, but it strengthens the edge of that page as you pull it out. This is just some lace on this page. This is, again, a digital print, and then I liked it because of the blue that you see through the rest of the book. And then I love to add things with these are alligator clips, and then I add a little piece of rhinestone on there, and I like that because it shows through a lot of times the top of the journal. And I'll show you in the little one that it'll show through. But that's that. And then this is another area where I didn't know what to do. This is the back of that retro curtain, I believe, that I found. And so it just, it was just flapping there. So I thought, well, I'm going to make it a tuck spot. And so I glued it to the ledger paper. And then I added this beautiful trim. It's pearl and kind of cream color trim, And you get this at Hobby Lobby in the wedding section, and a lot of times it'll go on sale, so you can get it pretty reasonable, and you get a pretty good amount. But I thought that really looked pretty, and then it just made a tuck spot. And then this is just a journaling card that I added in there so you could see the tuck spot. And then this is our paper. This is another digital, and I clipped it on there again with an owl clip. The back of that doily. Here's another fabric flip with the eyelet paper, with the eyelet fabric. And then the ribbon crimps that I added the rhinestones to. Then the back is just that lace that I added to the paper. This is just a little tag that I made. This is another piece of original ephemera. This is a prescription from 1931, and I liked it because, again, it had the blue on there, and it that blue theme just kept coming through. So I felt like it worked, and it just slips in there. And then that's just some math paper from probably the 1970s or 80s, probably the 70s. Then this is just that material or paper. Oh, this is something else. Now, this is another confession. Sometimes I don't always trust myself and something I make is good enough. And so I struggle with that, and I think a lot of people do. So what this was at Halloween, I went to the Dollar Tree, and they had a lot of this tulle in different colors with these splotches on there. They had black and orange and I think purple, and then the white. And I loved it. I grabbed several pieces of it, and I wanted to use it. I tried to use it in my Halloween journals, and I just didn't like it. I couldn't make it work. Then I was watching a video just the other day, and a lady was using this stuff in her project, and it just gave me the assurance that I could use it. And so I pulled it out, I added it to this guest check tag that I made, and I really like it. So I just want to say, trust yourself. You don't have to wait till somebody else says it's okay. But I did, and so that's that story. So I hope I'm not boring you with my stories, but I think it's a journey, and we all, have different places in the journey or on the journey. So I just wanted to mention that. And then this is the back of the ledger paper. This is the other side of that eyelet fabric. This is, on this one, I just added the double fold bias tape, and it finished it off beautiful. Another benefit of that is when you hold this up, sometimes this would fall down like that, but when you have this reinforced edge, it seems to make it a little more sturdy. So that was an added bonus. And so it's just another little trick or tip. Then here's the back. This is an item, this is a signature item. I add this in all my journals. It's a rusted metal prong fastener, and it just adds extra pages for you to journal on. And then on the front, I just took some tracing paper, and I stenciled some modeling paste on there, and did that. Then this is the other little, what is it? It is a chandelier crystal, and then the rusted ribbon crimp and the little rhinestones. And then this is the back of the signature. This is the lace. This is the back of that doily. This is the back of the book. I added a tag. On a lot of my tags, I like to add the fender washers and a rusted brad to finish, for the topper. And then this is just another granny square triangle that I crocheted. And then that's the back. So that's the big journal. And then, like I say, it comes with the beautiful handkerchief that I don't know how to add. And then this is just a little companion journal that comes along with it. I love to make these, and it also has a sticky backed velvet. the closure is D-ring fasteners, and I really like those. I use them quite a bit. I sell them in my shop. And it's just plain, but for you to embellish. And then I wanted to show the alligator clip with the rhinestone on there, how it sticks out of a book, and I really like that look. So I just added that. So that's that, and that comes with the journal. And then, like I say, I'm going to send a batch of papers that are similar to the pages in the journal. And the reason I do that is if you wanted to make your own tags or ephemera, or if you wanted to cover up something in the journal that you didn't like, you could find a piece of paper that would match it. So I wanted to include this. I added a couple of little stamps. These are, I'm not sure, these are 3-cent stamps, so I'm not real sure how old they are. There's 5 of these vintage little manila tags. And then there's 5 of these craft tags. And then this is the papers that are in there. It's just some of the pages similar to what I used in the journal for you to, if you wanted to, make your own tag. Or this is just some of the matte paper. And I think this one says Austin, Texas. Great place to go to school. Hook 'em horns. And then this is just some ledger paper, some dictionary page, some math paper, and then some of the manuscript paper. So that is the journal. And my Shabby Chic Adventure, this will be for sale in my Etsy shop. And, oh, I forgot. Don't forget that I'm going to include all the rusted little bits like paper clips, owl clips, brads. So those will be included in the journal, and you get the little companion journal. So that's it. I hope I haven't taken too much of your time. I hope you were able to get some benefit from this, the little tips and tricks that I had and a couple of my confessions. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I do appreciate your time. I would appreciate it if you like this video, if you would hit the like button. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I know it helps promote my videos, and I would appreciate that. And just thank you again. If you have a comment or a question, please, I'd look at the comments, and they mean a lot to me. I try to take them to heart. Thank you very much.